What's going on, guys? Today's video is about how good was Muggsy Bogues. So Tyrone Curtis Muggsy Bogues was born on January 9th, 1965. He was actually the shortest ever player in the NBA, listed at 5'3" to play point guard. He played for 4 teams during 14 seasons in his NBA career, and although he was known as his best seasons from the Charlotte Hornets, Bogues also played with the Warriors, the Bullets, the Washington Bullets, the Raptors, and served as a coach for the Charlotte Sting of the WNBA. So early life, Muggsy was born in Baltimore, Maryland, and grew up in the Lafayette Court housing projects. He was raised by his mother after his father went to prison, and he played at Dunbar High School in Baltimore, where he was coached by Bob Wade, who was the later coach of the University of Maryland. He was teammates with former NBA players David Wingate, Reggie Williams, Reggie Lewis, and in 1981 and 1982, they finished the season 29-0 and 31-0 during his senior season, where they were ranked first in the nation by USA Today. So, for those of you who are curious where Muggsy went to college, Muggsy went to school at Wake Forest University and averaged 11 points, 8 rebounds, 3 steals a game during his junior year, and he followed his senior campaign with 14.8 points a game, 9.5 assists, and 3.8 rebounds and 2.4 steals per game. And he actually was the ACC career leader in steals and assists when his career. And Muggsy was averaging a double-double Muggsy was almost averaging a double-double during his career at Wake Forest as a 5'3" point guard. Also, he had almost 4 rebounds as a point guard, let alone being 5'3". Muggsy played for the U.S. national team in the 1986 FIBA World Championship, where they won the gold medal. And if you're curious who was on that FIBA national team, let me enlighten you about who he was playing with in that 1986 FIBA international team for Team USA. So the United States had players Muggsy Bogues, Tommy Amaker, Steve Kerr, Kenny Smith, Sean Elliott, Derek McKee, Ronnie Seakley, David Robinson, Tom Hammonds, Brian Shaw, Armin Gilliam, Charles Smith, and Coach Lute Olson. So a lot of ballers on that 1986 FIBA World Championship team. Alright, so after the FIBA World Championship, Muggsy went on to become drafted in the 1987 NBA draft by the Washington Bullets. And this class was astounding. It included teammates or fellow 1987 alumni such as David Robinson, Reggie Miller, Scottie Pippen, Kevin Johnson, and in his rookie year and on the Bullets, Muggsy was a teammate of 7'7" tall Manute Bol. Yes, the same Manute Bol who's a blocking machine and whose son is currently in the NBA right now, Bol. They were the tallest and shortest players in NBA history at the time, with 28 inches, aka 1 centimeters difference between them. Bol and Bogues appeared on 3 magazine covers, as you can see on this cool, funny thumbnail prior to the video. Bogues blocked 39 shots as a professional player, including one on 7-foot-tall Patrick Ewing on April 14, 1993. And Bogues reportedly had a 44-inch vertical leap, but his hands were so small to hold on to the ball when he dunked it. In 1998, so in 1988 and 1989, the Miami Heat and Charlotte Hornets were set to enter the NBA draft. So with that being said, they had an expansion draft. And Muggsy Bogues was actually left unprotected by the Washington Bullets. So on June 22nd, 1988, the Hornets selected him in the expansion draft. And thus, Muggsy moved from Washington to the Charlotte Hornets, and he established himself as a great passer, a great stealer, and one of the fastest guys on the court. Bogues then spent 10 years in Charlotte with the Hornets. He was led by Alonzo Mourning, Larry Johnson, and became one of the most popular players in the NBA. and they were a constant perennial playoff contender with Bogues playing the point guard. Muggsy was one of the most popular players on the Hornets. He played 19,768 minutes. He had 5,557 assists, 1,067 steals during his time with the Hornets. So a little bit more about Muggsy and his NBA regular season stats. He had his highest assist season on the 1993-1994 season, where he averaged 10.7 assists with the Hornets, and he had a career high in points per game during the 1994 and 1995 season, where he had 11.1 points per game. Muggsy actually balled out too during his time in the 1997 playoffs. During that playoff, he played 2 games. However, during those 2 games, he averaged 16 points, 2.5 assists, 1 rebound per game, and half a steal per game. So after the NBA, Muggsy went on to enter the real estate business until August 3, 2005. After that, he went on to become the coach of the Charlotte Sting for the WNBA. And it was funny because he was actually the shortest person on the team. The shortest player at the time was Helen Darling at 5'6". And during his time on the WNBA Charlotte Sting, he led them to a record of 14-30 before the team had folded on January 2007. In 2011, he became the head coach of the United Faith Christian Academy, which is a high school team in Charlotte, North Carolina, and served after he was serving as a part-time assistant to the former coach Sean Wiseman. On March 18, 2014, Muggsy was then named a Charlotte Hornets ambassador and participated in the team's rebranding. So you may have seen Muggsy in a lot of actually television shows and movie appearances. He actually appeared on Space Jam as one of the 5 NBA players. He was with Sean Bradley, Larry Johnson, Patrick Ewing, and Charles Barkley. Muggsy was actually one of those players who had their power stolen by the villainous Monstars. If you don't remember, in that movie, Michael Jordan was the head main character, and he was Muggsy is one of those guys in the movies where their powers were stolen by the Monstars and Michael needs to defeat them. Muggsy also had a cameo appearance in the famous basketball movie Joanna Man. He made a cameo in TV series like Curb Your Enthusiasm, where he starred as himself. He shared a restroom with Larry David and Rashard Lewis, and they always had an altercation with David after catching them in the restroom. In 1996, Muggsy had a cameo in Eddie, in which Whoopi Goldberg flirted with him. He also had a cameo in Saturday Night Live with Charles Barkley and Nirvana, and he appeared in Hang Time, where he spoke against steroids. So Muggsy actually is involved in the ESPN 30 for 30 Baltimore Boys, which is a documentary that highlights the Dunbar Poets high school basketball team. In 2005, Muggsy appeared in a series of commercials hosting company GoDaddy. So where does Muggsy Bogues actually stand in the NBA? Both, I guess, literally and metaphorically. So Muggsy, currently, he ended his career with 6,726 assists per game. That is currently 23rd all-time in the NBA. He's actually ahead of players like Nate Archibald, Kobe Bryant, Jerry West, Scottie Pippen, Clyde Drexler, John Havlicek, all these great players in the NBA. So Muggsy has more assists than him. If you're curious who's number 1 right now in all-time assists, it is currently John Stockton with 15,806, followed by Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, Mark Jackson, Magic Johnson, Oscar Robertson, Chris Paul, and LeBron James. Where does Muggsy actually stand in the list of tallest players in the NBA, or actually shortest? So if you're curious who the tallest player in the NBA was, it definitely was not Muggsy. The shortest player was actually Muggsy Bogues, standing at 5'3" inches. The second shortest was Earl Boykins. He stood at 5'5". He was quite baller for, you guys remember him playing a lot for the Denver Nuggets. He played on the Warriors, the Bobcats, the Rockets. He was a scoring machine. He scored really well, and so Muggsy actually was the shortest player in NBA history. And for those of you who are kind of more current NBA fans right now, the shortest player playing right now actually was actually Isaiah Thomas at 5'9". So if you guys remember IT, he's going jumping from team to team right now, but he was definitely a baller on the Celtics. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video about Muggsy Bogues, kind of going over his career and how much he's achieved, his stats, his points, where he's gone throughout. And leave a like, leave a comment. We'll be posting from time to time. We'll be trying to post every day and get you a video on all these great NBA players. Hope you guys have an amazing day. Catch you later.